Hi, and welcome to the channel. Today I want to begin with a parable that was shared with me when I did my meditation certification. This, I believe, is called The Elephant in the Stone or The Elephant in the Rock. It can be found on Google easily if you type it in and look it up. It's a story about a sculptor in India who could sculpt these amazing life-size and lifelike looking elephants out of granite or stone. And he became so renowned for this that at one point a king came to his village to recruit him to do a statue for him. The king, after having looked at some of his work, said to him, how do you do this? How do you make this work happen? So I'm going to read this. His response, he said, the sculptor quietly took his measure of the monarch and replied, "Great king, when with the aid of my men I quarry a gigantic piece of granite from the banks of the river, I have it set here in the courtyard. For a long time I do nothing but observe this block of stone and study it from every angle. I focus all my concentration on this task and won't allow anything or anybody to disturb me. At first I see nothing but a huge and shapeless rock sitting there, meaningless, indifferent to my purposes, utterly out of place. It seems faintly resentful at having been removed or dragged from its cool place by the rushing waters. Then, slowly, very slowly, I begin to notice something in the substance of the rock. I feel a presentiment, an outline, scarcely discernible, shows itself to me, though others I suspect would perceive nothing. I watch with an open eye and a joyous, eager heart. The outline grows stronger. Oh yes, I see it. An elephant is stirring in there. Only then do I start the work. For days, flowing into weeks, I use my chisel and mallet, always clinging to my sense of the outline, which grows ever stronger. How the big fellow strains, how he yearns to be out, how he wants to live. It seems so clear now, for I know the one thing I must do with an utter singleness of purpose. I must chip away every last bit of stone that is not elephant. What then remains is, and must be, the elephant. I remember when I took this course, listening to this parable. And what I love about parables is they're stories that really amazing teachers use to come back and review where you are in your life over and over. When I first heard this, I considered this about my outward appearance, thinking if maybe perhaps I was needing to chisel more off myself or needing to work more on that structure. A few years down the road, I began to see things differently. Last year, I decided to work with a coach who would help me with some speaking abilities and preparing my finished product a little more smoothly. One of the challenges she gave me was to zero in on the elements of my life or the times in my life when I felt like I was at my best. In our discussions, I had said to her, when I present, when I teach, when I'm leading something or facilitating, that's when I feel like the best version of myself. It's something I've been able to identify over the years. I stopped thinking about what other people are thinking of me. I stopped worrying about whether it's perfect. I stopped worrying about what's going on in every other aspect of my life. And I really get into this state of flow where I'm on it. I'm in that space where I feel the best. And she said to me, okay, why do you feel like once you finish presenting or once you're no longer facilitating, you aren't still that quality of individual? What is it that happens that makes you believe that you are not that person? It struck me as really interesting. I had to go home and ponder on it. In fact, my homework for the week after that was to get in touch with what she called my higher consciousness, but I like to refer to it as my higher self. Or, using this parable, I like to think of this as this really amazing, brilliant elephant in the stone. It took some time. I had to really dig in and reflect on what this best version of myself looked like and why I felt like I abandoned her, why for some reason I stopped being her the minute I stopped teaching or leading or facilitating. Something I felt would be really beneficial for me was to sit down, and I actually just took a recipe card and I wrote on this recipe card what the version of me in that highest level of consciousness, or my best version of myself, looked like. It wasn't a vision board. It wasn't something that I hoped or that I thought I could be or that I thought I might be. It was based purely on facts and reality in my life. And I use this because when you think about the parable of the elephant, the stone is real. It doesn't slip off and change and become something else. It's possible, but in its purest naturalist form, it is this hard, strong substance. When you sit down and you look at this, and I'm going to challenge you to go through this exercise yourself, when you sit down and consider who your best version of yourself is, who you actually have been in those moments where you feel like you're in flow, where you feel like you stop judging yourself, where you feel like what you're doing is of value and is the best possible product that you can put out, whether it be personal, corporate, in service and leadership with someone else, even in relationships. If you can really drill into that and have a deep understanding of what those circumstances are in your life, where they are, where it is actually happening, where it is reality, and you've seen it to happen, you've seen it, it's going to be an incredible, powerful tool. It becomes the stone in your life. It gives you that chance to really zero in and dial in. Why is it important to do this? Because what you need to understand is that you are always this person, this level of you. Even if you haven't seen this particular version of yourself for 5 years or 10 years, that person still happened. They're still there. They're there inside of you. I gave a presentation a little while ago where I said, that person's there. They're wearing your shirt right now. So they don't die. They don't disappear. And it's really valuable to identify that and to see it. The second step from that is what I call the byproducts of the higher version of yourself. So it's not just enough to identify your strengths, see the reality of who you've been in past, or how perhaps in your life you're only getting to be this best version of yourself 5 or 10% of your time. It's about what connects you to that and what happens in those moments. So not just the doing and the acting, but what resonates with you about it. After sitting down and creating this card that was the reflection of the real traits, the real moments where this was happening, then I sat down and I looked at the byproducts of them. So for me, connection with others, being a sage, being somebody who shares and says, oh my gosh, I learned this, let me tell you about it. Working with people or sharing something and having somebody come up to me later or much, much later and saying, oh my, that helped me. Like I never saw it that way. And now I feel powerful, or I feel like I can change, or I feel like I can just get started. Those are things that resonate with me. When I'm doing those, when I'm in that state, when I'm doing that work, or when I'm in that version of myself, I feel abundance and I feel like I'm ready to welcome more learning in and more opportunities. And more importantly than anything else, I feel like I have movement in my life. And you'll find on the channel here, there is going to be a series on how movement is medicine, and personal movement, development, growth, change, pushing forward into something or pushing back into that space where your highest self exists is medicinal to the soul. It's medicinal to your value of yourself and what you believe about yourself and what you're going to continue to believe about yourself and do. So my suggestion to you, my challenge to you is to sit down, put that piece of paper on a table, open up an open document on your computer, pull the granite from the quarry, take it away from its comfortable space by the running water, and then begin to chisel out and take away the belief that you can't be that higher version of yourself, or that ship has sailed, or that you don't have the time, or you don't have the energy, or that person just simply doesn't exist anymore. Pull that granite out, chisel away, identify the real strengths, the real personality traits, the real skills, talents, experiences that you have, and then connect with them on a deeper level. I promise you, if you give this exercise a try, some king is going to come visit you and ask you how you became this great thing. You're going to find this opportunity in your life where you're like, I actually don't have to drift out of that higher being. I don't have to not be my best version of myself. I can hang on to that all the time. Even in the mundane and dreary moments of my life, I have that strong, solid granite form that has been shaped and is ready to present itself to the world and to my life. I hope this helps. I love this concept. I've got a workshop in place that's going to come to identify this in a few different levels, but this, in pondering on it, has been incredibly powerful for me. It has taught me a lot about what I was simply allowing to slip off and drift into the everyday tasks of my life. I really saw this power of realizing, like, oh my gosh, yes, that best version of me, she's not going anywhere. And she doesn't stop existing the minute I stop presenting or doing what I do best. She's there all the time, and I need to recruit her. I need to breathe life into her. I need to connect with her and remember why I love her so much and want to be her more often. I promise you, it's an amazing experience, so give it a try. I would love to hear back from you. I'd love to hear how this goes for you. You can email me a snapshot of your card. I actually took a picture of my recipe card because, yes, I'm a pen to paper girl. I have it on my phone, so every once in a while I just like flip through it and I look at it, or I look at the byproducts of it, and it gives me strength. It's that valuable thing that I have just for me. It's a shameless self-promotion to myself, which we don't do enough. Share it with me. You can send it to me at elise@russellwellnessgroup.com, or you can comment in the space below the video. Hope to see you soon. Make sure you have a look for the Movement is Medicine series coming out soon, and have a great day.